Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Greg Cruz, aka G-Bo from No Warning Shot series, and I have here a special guest, Jettie Garrett, aka Baby Jed. And let me say this real quick. I throw out our names and our nicknames. We're not with that anymore, but I'm just showing you where we came from, and and eventually I'm gonna show you how we turned our lives around. So I always gotta throw out who we were and who we are now. So you're gonna get two versions of that. But real quick, we're gonna get into this series, talking about prison lifestyle, hitting those big yards. So Jettie, just share a little insight on how it was when you first hit the prison yard, and just let me know what prison when you first hit, which one you first touched down at, and if you can, a little bit of the difference between your youth authority time and your prison time.
Um, I graduated from youth authority. I was on California Youth Authority parole. Um, got out when I was 18. I was out for 2 weeks and ended up shooting a guy in the face with a shotgun. I didn't get caught for like maybe almost a year, so I was 19 years old when I got to the county jail. They was talking about giving me 7 years. Actually, they was talking about giving me 49 to life. I ended up taking a deal for 7 years. I hit the pen, I want to say March 17th, 1986. This is before Donovan was built, so I had to go to Chino for reception center, which was a lot different as far as, well, not much different from the youth authority as far as the numbers from a gang standpoint. Chino was full with LA Crips. And, as soon as you pull up, you went on and on. You're like, where you from? I learned quick. I'm from Dago.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But then when they get to pressing you, like, what part of Dago? I'm from Scotland. Oh, we got one. We got one. So, some of the main differences that I learned real quick when I hit the pen as opposed to YA was, at least in the youth authority, I mean, we got down a lot, we fought a lot, but the staff members, we didn't even call them COs in the youth authority. They was coaches because they were supposed to be life coaches. A lot of the staff members in the youth authority, they actually cared about what happened to us. They was trying to play a decent part in our lives to try to get us to transition into something good. But what I learned as soon as I hit prison, man, the correctional officers, when I first hit prison, man, they didn't give a damn about you. A lot of them had a gang agenda themselves, or they had some kind of racial motivation, you know what I mean? If they didn't, if they was Mexican, they didn't like blacks, just like a lot of the Hispanic inmates didn't like blacks. So I learned quick, man, that it was going to be a fend for yourself. You can't depend on no staff. And it was only a few homies to depend on. So, and eventually I went from there to Tracy, which was more of the same.
Now Tracy, if I stand corrected, because when I was in the youth authority in from 80 to 85, but somewhere in between there in the middle, if you kept messing up at YTS was the last straw.
Right.
They started sending you to Tracy. And we was hearing stories about Tracy back then, like, you don't want to do this. They stabbing people every day. They don't care. It's going down up there. But okay, so the prison lifestyle. Just share a little bit of the politicking up there. And what I want to actually really know is, because a lot of prisons are different. A lot of people don't know this, but a lot of prisons are different when it comes to clicking up. Some prisons just is Dago, whether you Crip or blood, this is Dago. Some of them are we blood. So, it's blood against Crip. So if you can share some light, because you grew up in the system when the real, and no disrespect to nobody that done time later on in life or whatever, but in the mid 80s and all that, in the penitentiary, that shit was real, man. So share some of the difference between the politics. I need to know, some of the stuff I don't even know as far as, these, like CRC, for example, real quick. A lot of times CRC, okay, we Dago. I know for a fact some of my homeboys was getting into it, and I'm not in their dorm, and one of the West Coast Crip dudes came down. Hey, Jimmy, the homeboy was getting into it over here, but don't trip. I got you. You know what I mean? And I respected that. So if you can share some of that kind of stuff, let them know that, because it's important to know, and we get into why they need to know a little bit later on.
Well, when I didn't stay at Tracy long because they gave me 7 years, and there was no way I was going to be able to program at Tracy. I mean, I think out of the whole institution, it might have been 6 or 7 bloods. And I'm not even exaggerating. Tracy holds 4,500 inmates. Over half of them is black. Over half of them is gang members. And you got 6 or 7 bloods, there was no way I could do it. I caught a lucky break, They transferred me up out of there. And at this time, Donovan was just now being built. Donovan was open. So they transferred me to Donovan, which was right in our backyard. But it wasn't right in our backyard because we hadn't took over Donovan with the numbers as far as a bunch of homies yet. But it was a lot more comfortable. I could do time. So now I just wasn't so much worried about focusing on the conflict with the Crips. This is when I started to experience the politics with the other races and all that kind of stuff, man. I'm going to tell you right now, I hated prison with a passion. Being locked up, being away from my family, not being able to do this. But one of the things I hated the most about prison was the politics. I know people that go to prison, man, they don't have a racist bone in their body. Some people just make mistakes, man, and get caught up in the situation. But the politics of prison, you got people, man, that for whatever reason, they're full of hate, or they're full of greed, or they're full of whatever. And they got too much time on their hands, so they just implement policies. They'll sit up in their cell and just dream up some unheard of type politics. So I mean, like I said, I had a neighbor on the street, and when I went to prison, he actually ended up being my neighbor next to me on the cell. He was a Mexican guy, and man, it hurt us so bad, man, because he couldn't even really socialize with me. He definitely couldn't eat after me, and that's some of the politics. No hands-on policy with the other races as far as the Mexicans and the whites. You can't eat it after these guys. You can't drink after these guys. You can't play basketball. And it just was all from a racial standpoint. And that's where a lot of the politics come in. And initially, the politics were designed to try to keep peace.
Exactly.
To keep the tension down. If you ain't playing with them, then you ain't going to be fighting with them.
Exactly.
That's what it was supposed to be, but it ended up being more politics.
Right. And it's crazy how that turns into that, because people don't understand the policies and rules in prison. It's just so many of them. They come up, it's about 1,000 rules in prison. It's to the little bitty ones, to the serious offense ones that can really get you caught up and get you killed up in there. So, and there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. And I thank you for following. We have Jettie Garrett, aka Baby Jed, one of my homeboys that's really been through it. And like I said, he's been doing this before I have, and done probably a lot more time than I have. Follow us again on No Warning Shot series, and you're going to see some real powerful stories. Thank you for letting us share this information. And we're here once again to encourage you. These stories, you're going to see it's going to turn. There's a lot of negativity in prison, but it will turn if you allow it, and we will change if you want change.